That's the crossing itself.
It's only taken us 3 years working with the railroad to get to this point. And we finally got to them.
Do they use that much, or?
This one they don't use at all, but they have plans on putting it back in because they say in the future they might use it. The next one down, that's the one that feeds into Mexico, into the Black Bridge and all that. Goes into Mexico. So that one's used quite a bit. But it's caused us a huge problem throughout the years. As you can see, that the Franklin Canal usually should carry 300,
350.
350, and it was, Robert couldn't get 80 through there last
Really?
year.
Did you say the railroad's gonna use their equipment to clean, or are we doing it?
No, we're demolitioning this site here.
But they are gonna pay for it.
Oh,
And then the other two crossings below this, which looks basically the same thing as this does, they're cleaning those two culverts, the railroad, and they'll remove the sand and haul it off. But we're, on this one here, we're completely doing away with it.
And it'll be before the season? It's gotta
Yes. Yeah, we've gotta finish it before this year.
Yeah, so I've got a small crew in this area here, so.
Pete does that in his spare time.
I said, boy, you better put her in high gear.
Well, we'll get it done. I mean, we're pretty good for the deterrent things, so. We'll get it out.
But my hat's off to Al and Renee Hicks that worked out the final with the railroad on this, where they'll pay for it, and just to agree, to get them to agree to let us taking it out, we had to threaten them with, we're gonna take it out whether you like it or not, because it's our canal. And they finally came to the table over a weekend, and we got it settled. But it's been a battle. But you can see all the sand, what Pete has to deal with, and then the problems that it causes Robert. Like I said, the canal should carry 350, and he couldn't get 80 through there last year, towards the end of the season.
That bay on the left side is completely plugged.
Mm-hmm.
And over on the top of the bank, you see all that brush on that side? That's actually sand hills from where I removed it last year. And I'm talking, I mean, there's quite a bit of sand there.
Too bad you don't have a time lapse. That would get them, like last year.
But that's what it looked like before we got started on it.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, but there was no way for us to get from this side of the Franklin to the other side of the Franklin without actually jumping the tracks, because there's not really a crossover. After this is all said and done, I believe they're gonna put a crossover for us, right?
Yes, yes, that's part of the agreement. And besides all this sand and so on, debris that Pete's having to been working with, there was also a homeless village there of about, 10 people that were living in there.
We're down to two little areas there. One of them's got a tent and trash. There's a lot of trash in there, a whole bunch of stuff that you gotta be very careful with. But, one of the guys got a tent. Another guy built it underground. He's got railroad ties over the top. He's got a big tractor tire that he uses as a door to get in and out. And they're actually there because they were there last week when I was there. So. Luckily, they don't mess with us, but.
Pete didn't cover it, but on the first slides that he showed you all of the Socorro ponds, the guys, when they started cleaning the brush, ran into a big mountain lion with 3 cubs. And actually took some pictures. We should show them those pictures next month.
I got it. So right now we've got this excavator there. That's what we're going to use to tear it up. We're taking the raking ball out there because I think it's going to be a challenge. Just that's very old concrete. It's been there since who knows when. But we are in the works. That's in the works already. And those are the projects that I got going on right now. Other than a whole bunch of little fires that we're turning off as we go along. We did start some wells here a couple of, on Monday actually, we started a total of, I think there's 18 wells that we started, or, yeah, 18 wells that we started, trying to get these things ready, because I know that during the water season, we're gonna need them kind of, heavily. So what I'm doing is I'm coordinating with Robert, and as Robert is using his water in certain areas, those are the wells that I'm turning on, to help him out with the irrigations, and at the same time, get these wells running for a couple of weeks, since we haven't ran them for almost 2 years. That way, if there's any problems, I got time to work on them before water season hits us.
Are they looking pretty good?
So far, the 18 that I turned on Monday, we've had no problems. So, once Robert moves further downstream, I'll turn these off, and then I'll turn the ones on the riverside on. And I'll just follow Robert wherever he's got irrigations. And, again, this year we've got, we did budget it to sleeve an additional 5 wells. I'm hoping I can do all 5. Right now with the price of steel, I might be able to do only 4. But my intention is to do whatever we can with the budget that we put aside. That's all I got, gentlemen.
All right.
Any questions for me?
Any question?
Sounded good, Pete.
Thank you, Pete.
Thank you.
You know, we got, Robert?
In the water, Robert.
Robert.
One thing, Larry, that, Pete didn't, tell you that he's looking at about, what, the 10th of May, we should have the Guadalupe finished, so we can start running return flow, and then by the 10th of May, 'cause I know you're in there, and there's still quite a few farmers that want water in that little section. We can, we'll pick them up first priority if they order, and they haven't used their 2 inches somewhere else. But as of today, well, we already are on the item 8, we're up above. And as of tomorrow, we're going into the 154, and we're gonna be working on the 154 from the heading to, all the way to the first raceway. And we got Matt coming in, and then as soon as Pete gets that lower section mowed, and then I'll be able to go into the other bottom part of the Guadalupe and the rest of the 154. So it's taking a little time, like you said, because some of the canals kinda got away from us. And I guess maybe I need to check them out ahead of time, but, you know, Pete helped me out with the mowers. We got the Zanetti, he's hurrying up to get in there. And I think by next week, by the middle of next week, we'll have nearly all the cotton people out. And all we'll have left is the cotton, the pecans, and all these little small people that they're ordering water. And the way I'm handling them, because when they do water, the board puts out the 2 inches, but when they do water 5 acres, they'll take 4 or 5 inches, and we zero them out. They can't order water no more. That's it, because until you guys get at least, we go to the 2 inches, and then we have to go 2 inches again, then I'm gonna let them go ahead and order water on the 3rd time, but if we get there. So that's where we're at with the return flow. Again, with just the sewer water, we were able to pick it up from just the Socorro Pond, the riverside that we have. We're picking up very 2 small irrigations. We went up to 5. With the wells, we're up to 7. But right now, we're very spread out. As of probably on Monday, we're gonna start at the tail end of Central, and we got Spence coming on tomorrow, and then you'll be coming on, and we're gonna work our way up. And we'll wipe out the Central in a week, and then we'll go to the lower terminal of Franklin, we'll wipe it all
Next
out.
week?
Huh?
Next week, Robert?
On what?
For the study trash.
No, it's probably looking at, what's the what, Thursday, probably Saturday.
Saturday?
Yeah, you're looking at Saturday, as long as soon as Spence gets off of that, and then we're coming right up. So we'll be on the Central probably, yeah, by tomorrow morning, that's our plan. But some of the gentlemen don't understand is, if I'm on this lateral, why do you make me wait on the other one? I say, guys, because the other guy's gonna get through in another 12 hours, and why move the water around? But they don't like that, they want to follow. But we're working through it, like she says. We did amazing work with a little bit of water we had that Pete and Shu told me, you ought to run, and I told them they're kind of crazy, but we did it anyway, and it covered 6,000 acres. It was amazing that we did cover that many acres, and now we got the full thing going, and we're already just picking up water Saturday, already covered up another 1,000 acres in a couple of days, so they're going fast. The cotton people, we still got it going out. Some of the farmers been calling me, they're waiting for Al, the tomorrow report, as to they're afraid when they're gonna cut off the system, if they're gonna do it in 60 days. They don't wanna continue with their cotton, so we'll let Al surprise them tomorrow. But that's what they're waiting for. And that's about it, you know, just the return flow. Other than that, we still got like 14,000 acres, but a lot of the 14,000 acres we got, there's still 258 people waiting for water, but once they come up on them, I give you a good case, cases like Roger, he ordered the 2,500 acres. And then once I come up on him, he has to go from 2,500 acres to 800 acres. But they feel that they have to order the whole farm to get the 2 inches. I said, no, you're only gonna get so much, and that's it, 800 acres and no mas. So I start bringing down the acres down.
All these guys pumping is helping you out quite a bit, or?
It does, Larry, because there's a lot of you guys that have pumped, like, I'm not gonna mention, but there's a lot of guys that said, you know, Robert, what's the use of bothering you, because you got enough people bothering you, so they pump themselves. And like Keely pumped that out, Scopes, a bunch of them have pumped themselves out. So that but they still got the 2 inches coming. So they're figuring if they don't use it in this month or May, they'll save it for August or September. We gotta tell them, you know, we'll keep it on the books, guys, and first come, first serve. Not a first come, but if you haven't used your 2 inches, comes to August, you'll still be entitled to it. Until everybody gets their chance. I got a spreadsheet of who gets it and who hasn't. And that's the best we can do with it.
Gotta do what we gotta do.
Yep, and I keep telling them that, like Al said, we probably won't do a full allocation until May, and hopefully we get a good snowpack, a little bit of runoff, and we go from 197 to maybe 150. We'll go to September, huh? Six waters for fall back.
It's all sweet.
But you know, like also it was the 18 inches, even, you take unit 7, unit 6, when we give them water, the poor people, the first time they water, they take 12. They're nearly on the first 2 waters, they're out of water. So they run out of water pretty fast. So,
That's why I'm a small trucker.
very smart. So am I. Give more waters, but you gotta fight the people, but that's it, it's going, you know, I know Larry, you're out there and you're in the bottom, there's a lot of people that are mad, but like I said, you know, when you got 250 people wanting water, you can't put them all at the beginning, you just gotta work your way in.
Oh, you know, there's a lot of farmers working together right now.
Yeah, and like I tell them, if they got problems, I say, give me a call, see if I can help you out, and we can do that, you know. But if you don't call, no hablas.
Yeah.
Get the everything.
Okay.
At least you said something nice.
Okay, but no, it's working, it's just a little, you know.
Yeah.
Anything else for me?
Oh, any questions? No? All right.
Gracias.
Thank you, Robert.
Thank you.
Water delivery medication?
No, none at this point.
Who's next? Jay?
Okay.
Okay, let me bring up the subdivision. The first application is 2290 by, yes, so we won't have a quorum.
You guys wanna take a break first?
Yeah, I can take a break, but I can't be part of this.
Yeah, so we don't have a quorum.
Yeah.
Postpone it next week.
Let's wait till, put it on the, when they schedule.
Oh,
So,
you want to take a break today?
I can finish with, I'm okay.
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 All right.
We go out and need a break or?
Okay,
Okay?
yeah,
We'll just continue.
okay, thanks. So we'll table 2290 and put in the agenda for next week's meeting. Application 3003 by Del Rio Engineering for Sunset Valley Estates Unit 2. It's a 25-acre subdivision here on North Loop, adjacent to the fire station by Bowman Road. It's unit 2, unit 1 is in construction right now. We've got a canal in the back, the already lateral, and they've submitted the irrigable land exhibit. Everything is in order, and engineering recommends this application for approval.
I move to accept this application.
Second.
Second?
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right.
Application 3008 is by Mr. Daniel de Hete for the Diamantina 7 subdivision. It's a small parcel, 2.2 acres, that was divided into about 7 lots here on Smith Road by Rosedale Farms. And they submitted all the proper documentation of the irrigable land exhibit for tax to break down the land, and engineering recommends this subdivision for approval as well.
On this particular one, is that allowable by city on zoning?
Yes,
Given that they're, I think there's a minimum 5 acre size or 2 acre size lots?
yes, he actually sent the plat as well, and the city sent a request to the district to see if we were okay with it. So yes, so the city was waiting on is waiting on our approval, and they irrigate, so we make sure there are irrigation easements for all the lots. So
Okay.
yes.
Move to approve.
Second.
Recommendation. Everybody? Say aye.
Aye.
Okay, this application 3013 is Green Acres subdivision that has been in the books with Sonia for many years. It's on the screen here, and it's right off Artcraft, right where Montoya Drain begins, and this is about the 5th developer, I guess. So Tropicana finally purchased it and will be building some apartments and homes. They submitted the irrigable land exhibit, and everything is in order as far as the easements and the lots. And this was approved a year ago under another builder, so it's been sold. Everything is in order, as I mentioned. So yeah, engineering recommends this subdivision for approval as well.
On this particular one, is that onsite ponding or is it dumping off into our drainage ditches?
Neither. It has sheet flow, so the ponding will run down the streets into the existing stormwater sewer from the Acero plant.
Okay, so we're not impacted as far as,
No, it's gonna run onto Sorrel Drive and Oleaster Drive. It runs parallel to the Montoya Drive, so no, it's got drainage, storm sewer drainage underground, all along.
move to approve.
Wait a minute, so they're gonna have to dewater this, right? Because the water table there is still, I mean, it looks inactive, but it's got
Not
water.
for the sewer, maybe, because this is the high point, so right here, the sewer connects, right, the storm sewer and the sewer connects here. So being that this will be the highest portion, they might not have to install the sewer that deep, 3 feet minimum. So depending, they did say we might have to, they will have to, we're gonna put a lift station, so they will have to dewater for the lift station. Because, well, the sewer's not designed yet, and that was a discussion on Friday of last week, because they were gonna cross underneath the Montoya Main and run down our lateral. This is the Montoya Main right here.
Right.
So they're requesting to run down this street, but this street sits entirely on the district's right away with the Montoya.
Well, why wouldn't they dump it in the drain?
No, you're talking about,
The dewater.
oh, the dewatering, yeah, no, the dewatering, they're not gonna need dewatering for construction of the subdivision,
No.
no. This is a high point, they're gonna need dewatering for the sewer line, the crossing, the main sewer line crossing, so right now they have it designed to cross our lateral,
Uh-huh.
And now, as of Friday, they changed it to connect to the existing subdivision. I guess the elevations were okay. But they haven't decided, so they might dewater. So if they do dewater, we can put it in the Montoya main so we could use it.
Yeah.
But they haven't decided. The water table is about 5 feet here, so.
Yeah.
In their application, did they provide a dewatering plan?
Yes, this is just to approve the subdivision design, not the construction of any sewer lines. If there's any sewer lines crossing the facilities, the district facilities, then they'll submit an application. If they don't cross the district facilities, while they're constructing the sewer within the subdivision, if they hit the water table or their design is below the water table, then, yeah, they'll submit an application, and we have the authority to authorize those within 24 hours.
That falls under means and methods, so that doesn't affect this application whatsoever.
No, this is just to break down so right now, this is currently 27 acres, so when we bill out this farm for taxes, it's 27 acres. Now it's gonna have about 75 lots. So now we break down the 27 acres into 75 lots, and Sonia sends the tax statements or tax statements to each individual lot owner. So that's what we're approving, just a subdivision breakdown.
How many acres did you say it was?
It's 27.04 acres.
Because Tropicana is, they're selling the water rights, like.
They will lease the water rights to not the water, that's correct.
I move to accept this application as well.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Okay. That's it, Jay?
We've got a few licenses
Oh, licenses.
and classification. So 13A is an application by Conterra. Ultra Broadband, they are running a fiber line parallel to Loop 275 and will be going underneath the south side feeder. It's going to be a horizontal directional drill, and it will be approximately 10 feet below the concrete box culvert that we have there. So all documentation is good to go, and engineering recommends this application for approval.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Application 3010 by El Paso Electric is for a crossing here over the Franklin Canal. It's a little bit downstream of Passmore Road. So they're gonna do a 3-phase to feed the Socorro Maintenance Building, right here, Socorro ISD. And there'll be an aerial crossing. We have a 22-foot span from the electric line to the top of the bank. And it will span the entire canal width. There'll be no poles constructed inside the district's right of way. So engineering recommends this application for approval.
I move to accept this application.
Is this the standard fee for the area that they're taking on?
The standard.
Fee, whatever fee they
Yes,
pay?
yes.
Well, that's a good question. What's the standard fee?
The fee is $8,000. $8,000 for this license. For this particular crossing, or the square footage involved. As recommended by the board previously.
How much per square foot?
It is 15 cents, I believe. Yes, 15 cents still.
And it's an overhead, so it doesn't,
Oh,
doesn't,
okay.
Yeah, it's okay, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There'll be no disturbance to the.
Okay.
it doesn't affect us at all.
I second.
Thank you.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Application 3011 is for an existing line, which the one that was just approved will come off from. So this line is an existing line that runs parallel at the edge of the Franklin Canal. In fact, let me put it on the screen for y'all. It's an existing line, and this portion, we could not find a license, and neither could they, so they submitted, and it runs from Passmore to Tanton. I mean, it runs all along Alameda and the Franklin Canal. So here's Passmore Road. So we're talking about these poles right here. So the crossing that was just approved is gonna go from here to here. And so application 3011 is this stretch right here. It runs parallel, there are existing poles, there wasn't a license, it's inside the district's right away by about a foot. So this is an existing line, and Sharon couldn't find a license, El Paso Electric couldn't find a license, we couldn't find a license, so they submitted the documentation, and engineering recommends this for approval. This is about 10,000 square feet, so yeah, it's about $50,000 for the use fees.
And it's an overhead also.
And they're existing. This one, they're not gonna construct anything. They're basically gonna put a T to shoot a three-phase across the Franklin to the other side of the Alameda.
So it's for the 50-year license, and they had no record of it prior to that, and they were in there? Were they paying?
No, so we're gonna have some discussions, cause that line runs all along the Franklin. And in some locations, it jumps into the backyards of residences. So it's inside the backyards, and then in some other locations, it's outside the backyard, so this stretch happens to be outside in the district's right of way, as you can see on this
But it's an important project for the school
For the school.
district.
Yes. You see these poles.
Right.
It's,
But they were there, they were paying?
oh,
for it?
yes, they've been there for years,
They weren't
and
paying for it though.
they couldn't find a license, and I think it was, some of these, they meander. A lot of the poles are inside the backyards, which is inside the residential lots, and then some go on the bank, they're in the district right away by foot, so we're gonna have to take it section by section, so as they upgrade the
But
system.
now we will have record of it.
Correct.
To keep.
Yes.
See, we didn't have any title till 96.
96.
Yeah, 1996. It's the first time that we got title of anything. The Bureau made a deed, special deed, that Travis Johnson helped us get through Congress.
How much is this fee? How much is this total?
50,000. So, all documentation, and, again, there will be no construction on this, it's just bring it up to par and be licensed, so engineering recommends this for approval.
The school district needs it.
Yeah, it's fitting into the new Socorro high school that's being developed, that's being completely redone.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Recommendation.
All in favor, say aye.
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 Okay, thank you. And application 3012, again, this is at the same location that they're going to come off that existing line and shoot across Alameda and Franklin, by El Paso Electric, to do a new three-phase feed as well on Passmore Road, essentially where we were at right now. So they're just gonna come off the existing line, put a T of the pole and shoot across Alameda. So the construction will be done off Passmore Road, and it'll be aerial as well. This will be 24 feet above the canal bank, so engineering recommends this for approval as well.
And the amount is, how much is
This
it?
is 8,000 as well.
Is it prorated to pay every 50
No,
times?
They pay up front,
Is that right?
lump sum.
Along with the $50,000 on those pieces?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, all the licenses are paid up front, lump sum.
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We've got one more item, 14A. So this is an application 3015 by Mr. Ronald G. and Maria Franco. Live in Clint. They are applying to classify their property as irrigable. In the 70s, the Bureau gave the option to a lot of folks, if they don't have the water rights, they could just pretty much give up the water right. So,
No, that's not right.
okay,
They can't let the water rights go to the land. The water rights stay with the land always.
right. Okay, it was classified as non-user. And they are next to a community ditch within the town of Clint, and they can irrigate, so they wanted to classify the land as irrigable again and be able to irrigate using the district's water. We checked with operations, we can deliver water to them. They have submitted a check to pay the back taxes from 73 up to now, to bring them up to present. And all the documents are in order. This will be a contract, and engineering recommends this for approval as well.
How much is from 73 to now?
It was $785. It's a 0.34 acres.
Yeah, it's a small piece.
Yeah.
See, we're limited to 69,010 acres of water rights property. That's the maximum we have under the reclamation statutes.
So,
And we run below that for various reasons. And so, we want to see you build up as close as you can get to the 69,010 acres.
Over 100 and some acres short of that.
yes, yeah, so we've got plenty, we've got some acres to be able to bring this into the district. They're in the town of Clint, right behind the post office, I don't know, constraint, but, yeah, everything is in order, and I checked with Robert and Kathy, make sure we can deliver water, and yeah, there's a community ditch that's right by the property, so. Everything is good as far as documentation, so engineering recommends this for approval.
I was curious, I don't know if you mentioned it, but was this purchased, or they've always owned this property?
They've owned it for, I believe it was 12 years is what the
Oh, but this,
documentation shows.
so the previous owner sold his water rights?
It's 70, what was it,
Can't sell the
72?
water rights. Water
Or
rights.
leased them away to somebody?
No, it's a
Oh,
it's a classification, it's a reclamation law classification within the district, so nothing is changing. All we're talking about is changing the classification under reclamation law and the district's rules and regulations to enable this property that's entitled under reclamation law to get water, to change it from the non-irrigable classified status to irrigable classified status. Frankly, it's really kind of an accounting issue. It benefits everybody, right? Because it benefits the landowner in terms of being able to irrigate, they're paying the back taxes, so it obviously benefits the districts. In terms of, we so rarely see this, right? We're, just today, we approved, land that's not gonna be irrigated, although we'll retain the right to release that water. But this is land, so it's really an accounting issue regarding classification under reclamation.
You think it was just an oversight in the earlier?
They might not have wanted to irrigate at that point. You are allowed to go back and forth in terms of the classification of that particular land. So who knows what was, the prior owners may not have wanted to irrigate that small tract, but here we have the owners, and we can provide water, so that's great.
I move to approve as the recommendation of the district.
Second.
Administration.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Ray.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, now I guess we go closed session?
No, just, we have item 15.
Right.
15? Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I'm good. Busy.
I can take care of that. I took last month off. So, we had a discussion with potential purchaser, I guess. So the Mesa Spur drain starts right west of the city of El Paso city limits. Let me bring that up. 76. Okay, up here. So right here. The city limits, this is the Mesa Spur drain, it starts right here. The city limits of El Paso and right approximately here.
It's the Ivy Farm.
Yes, it sits entirely within the Ivy Farm, this particular portion. So this is the city limits right here. The Mesa Spur drain, this is about 5,000 linear feet, and it's 2,000 linear feet, I'm sorry. It's approximately 5 acres, and we have a request to see if we could designate this as surplus. It is the beginning of the drain, so therefore The only way this would be impacted is there's farmland adjacent to it, so the farm can be irrigated and have the water leach underground to the drain. The plan is to develop all of this block that you see here. It will be developed, and there will be no more use of irrigation water for any of it. This entire block right here. So we put this on the agenda to see for discussion and possible action to designate this portion of the Mesa Spur Drain as surplus. It's approximately 5 acres.
And once,
Yeah, we haven't seen any groundwater flow in that drain for many, many years. It appears that there's sufficient, or lack, even though it's been irrigated, there must be groundwater pumping in the area that has kept the water table low there. I mean, I can't fully explain why that part of the drain, maybe the drain's just too high. I don't know, Pete or Robert, have you guys seen any water other than during flood times in that part of it?
They're not here, Al.
But it's very shallow.
Al, I've been through that area, there hasn't been water in a long time.
A long time.
Yeah, it's been a long, I don't ever, tell you the truth, even back when we had a lot of water, I don't remember
Right.
there being
As a
anything
matter of
there.
fact, Al, there's a couple of sinkholes in those areas right there.
Yeah,
Seen them?
so it's probably, I know there's some groundwater pumping up there. We've got one well, but I don't think it causes that much, but, so yeah, it doesn't function as a drain, as a groundwater drain anymore. So it's, in my opinion, we can declare it surplus.
so if it's surplus, who does the property go to?
Well, we're gonna put it on the market
Oh, I
to
see.
sell it.
Okay, now,
We have
where exactly are we talking about?
Right there behind the Americas.
Right here at Americas Avenue in North.
Right.
Two more on that.
That little spot there.
It's within Ben
Folks
Ivy's
home they put it
farm.
in. Right.
Okay,
When are they gonna develop it?
Probably said I think in August.
Yeah, so that, he's already submitted plans to the city of El Paso.
And then,
But what would happen if you all declare it, Mr. Brook, declare it surplus, then we can entertain, or you all can entertain an offer by the adjoining landowner.
for the existing landowner.
Yeah, the existing landowner.
Ben Ivy.
Uh-huh.
Well, the one that owns all that land is the one owner, right?
Yeah, on both sides.
And right now it's not being farmed at all.
Well, it was farmed last year, but it's being developed.
It's been in cotton for a couple of
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
There's water.
When there's water.
Uh-huh.
And the drain that continues there, I believe it's dormant as well, right? The one where they're gonna,
Yeah, all that, it's gonna be developed.
This is already developed, obviously.
Yeah.
Here, all this is in houses, and there'll be another phase of houses, so
Mhm.
all this is already residential.
is this the
This is-
Amazon deal here?
This is Burroughs, yeah, this is Burroughs, so all this is gonna be industrial. It's already been, I guess Hunt purchased all of this, and it's gonna be placed in industrial warehouses.
Okay, so
The
we're
only
talking-
thing that's left is that little green patch right here. That's that pumpkin patch.
Oh, is that the
Cornfield,
pumpkin patch?
Yeah, cornfield, cornfield, yes.
Yeah.
But that's not being farmed. So we're talking about the full length all the way to the East Lake or something?
No, we're talking from the city limit of El Paso, which is right
Right
around here, to the loop. But the drain is only it starts here, it's 2,000
Yeah,
acre
but
feet.
we own the continuation of that drain?
Absolutely, yeah, the whole drain is intact, yes.
So, well, if,
There's no
this, and the administration is recommending that because it's not affected, it's basically abandoned, no longer used, it's more of a liability of anything, so. I mean, that's what.
Well, it's not abandoned,
No,
we
it's
haven't
not.
abandoned
No.
it. It's surplus to our needs, and what we're asking is a declaration of surplus. That's only the beginning of the process. That doesn't, we do this all the time, you guys have done this dozens of times for us. So it just, all that does is say that we don't need that for the irrigation purposes anymore than it was
Well, what's to
initially.
keep us from stopping there, why not just go all the way to that line?
We need it, we can't, and the rest of the drain does function as a drain for
Oh, it
both
does.
surface, for agricultural drainage, so we can't, it's only that short section that's been dry. Probably filled filled up with windblown sand, right, Larry? That's what I suspect over
Yeah,
the
that's
years.
what it is. No, it's over the
Well,
years.
you
I
have a pretty good insight
the whole
there, so,
thing.
I mean.
Yeah. No, it's been, I haven't seen water in it in 10 years, I think.
No, and here, about 2 years ago, we constructed these, City of Socorro submitted the applications for the extension of East Lake, Nuevo Hueco Tanks Road, the new road that comes off of I-10 and goes south to North Loop. We installed 6x6 box culverts here at the Mesa Spur drain and the Mesa drain. And this has never had water, the Mesa Spur, even at this point. The Mesa drain occasionally, because we use it as a wasteway from the Juan de Herrera, but it's very dry. I think the water table's pretty far down.
I think the last time there was water in there was during the 2006 flood.
Okay, so how's that affecting us, Jay? Would our flood deal with the city, or does it, nothing?
Now, this little section won't affect
Won't
us.
do nothing?
Yeah, we have, it's in a contract, so we have to get permission. Okay, all you guys are asked to do today is to declare it surplus to the needs of the purpose of the district. We're not selling it, we're not changing it, we're not doing anything. Then there's a whole bunch of stuff that starts after that, like Chewy said, that if we get an application, we expect to get one from Mr. Ivy asking to purchase that property, then we move forward, and there's a whole bunch of paperwork we gotta do to get this thing eventually, if we can, sell it. But that's all. We can't do anything until you tell us it's surplus, then we can start that second process.
So that's similar to the one we just did on the west side by our craft.
Yes.
Yes.
Correct.
Like
It's
this.
all gonna be developed, so the purpose of the drain is
It's gonna be valuable.
not necessary.
Mhm.
That's what it is. It's gonna add value to our.
So back to Al's statement. We need that drainage ditch just east of that line, property line, right, Al? Or is it
Right.
so? 'Cause I'm saying,
It right now gets floodwater in it from some of the agricultural land, so even though it doesn't have groundwater, like Jay was saying, it still has a purpose. We have, when the engineer evaluates and makes the recommendation, Jay and I, as to declare something surplus, we study the request. We don't study the entire drain because that's not what we've been asked to do. We studied this 2,000 feet, this little piece, and evaluated it, so that we feel comfortable. Maybe there's other parts of that drain that could be surplus also, but we haven't studied that.
I got you.
And so right now, all we could say is, hey, that this part we do think is surplus to the needs of the district. It doesn't mean you guys are gonna sell it to them. I mean, it just means that it gives us the ability to go ahead and start the process, and the applicant pays for all that. The applicant comes in, says, I wanna buy this land now, and we gotta go, I know for one thing that I gotta take care of a contractual issue with the city. I don't think the city will have an issue, but if they object to it, then we won't be able to sell it to them. We cleaned that right now, and the city pays us to clean it, and so if the city wants to continue it there, then we'll have to resolve that. I don't think the city cares about it. Chewy and I talked about it, but we haven't talked to the city yet.
Well, if that's the recommendation of the district, and you've done the studies, I'll move to approve.
Move.
Second.
Second, all in favor?
All right.
Aye. Okay.
That is all we had in the open, and what we had discussed is that, since we're going to meet next week, is the closed session, anything we have in the closed session, we can discuss it then.
Chewy,
If
what
you're all
about
right
this
with
out of
that.
18?
Huh?
Out of 18?
Adjournment,
No,
that's item 18. I think that's where we're
Straight
going.
to
I'm looking
that.
right at it.
I like get to the point, let's get this over. with.
Mary, you got anything to add, or?
No, the question is,
Yeah, I think,
you've got an item in here that we never have had before this year, which is that we consider the items on the agenda for the next meeting.
Jim, we've had that on for a while.
Now, wait a minute,
Yes,
give me the
because
courtesy of
We
letting
have
it finish.
friendship. We have talked about that many times.
Okay, well, I was
on-
still speaking.
I think we can talk about that offline. You've raised your concerns about having on the agenda. We think it is a permissible item to have. So,
You
The
think that
the
this is a
sitting
good
president was
item to have?
asking, I'm sorry?
You think this is a good item to have?
I believe the discussion before is that it's an appropriate item to have, but we can have the discussion offline. We've had it before, I don't think we need to have.
My point is simply that any director, and only the director, can put any item he wants to on the agenda, regardless of any kind of a preliminary consideration or discussion.
And nobody disagrees with that, and the item does not say otherwise. So, I don't think, in answer to your question, Mr. President, I don't think we have any further
Further
items. that we
information?
need to
Well, all I'm
discuss
saying
today.
is, this is a useless, confusion item to have. It's been on just this year, I guarantee you. Never in the past history of the district have we had. And I would just eliminate it. What good does it do you? It's just confusing.
Well, it doesn't do any harm either, so let's move the
Well,
nobody's.
no, it confuses things, Al.
Yeah, well,
I don't think it does confuse. I think, Jim, you're the only one that's confused by it. None of us are confused by
No,
it,
you're
so.
wrong, Al. I'm telling you that this is not consistent with the law. Why have it?
Right?
What good does it do?
You don't, okay.
Here,
None of the board members are.
yeah, let's just, we can entertain moving on. That's not, unless the board has an objection to that item, we'll move on.
Okay. So all the closed deals, we're gonna hold them in for
the next.
For the Monday meeting.
meeting.
they can wait.
So I
So would we adjourn or?
guess so.